And hey guys, welcome back to the channel, back with Midwest Express. So today we're talking about Uber rides and multiple stops and why drivers just don't like them and complain so much about multiple stops. So as a driver for Uber has changed the business model over the last year, and now they've gone to pretty much straight upfront pricing, which means as a driver, we know how much exactly we're going to make, and we know exactly how much time, distance that we're going to spend to take that ride. Now, in this upfront pricing to let drivers know what they're getting paid, they've lowered the threshold of what we're actually getting paid. Now it's not uncommon to see rides being offered for 65, 66 cents per mile. And if you're talking about in the city, that is not going to be lucrative. You are going to, if you measure your time, you're going to lose money. So drivers are being very choosy on the rides they take to make sure that it's worth their time and their efforts. So when we see rides that have multiple stops, I'll give you an example. I'm in a college town. Quite often when we get around the holidays or peak travel periods of spring break and whatnot, passengers will request multiple stop pickups and drop-off. So they will say, I want 5 stops. I want you to pick me up, then I'm going to go down the street, pick up Susie, then we're going to pick up Timmy, and then we're going to go to the airport. Now, typically that ride might pay me $14 if I was just picking up you. By me stopping for those other passengers and maybe going another 1.5 miles, 2 miles out of my way, I might make another $1.50. And I'll add another 20, 25 minutes to my journey. Plus, I have more passengers in my vehicle, which means my car's going to get dirtier, just issues, right? So for me, I avoid these kind of rides just because it slows me down and time is money. If your wheels aren't turning, your money's not burning. So you got to keep going to make this worthwhile as a driver. So if I see multiple stops, I'll typically avoid those and won't accept them. Second, if I accept the ride and then I get this little ding to the ride, it means that a passenger has adjusted the ride. Now with the upfront pricing, I don't know this destination you just added. You could be taking me 20 miles out of the way. You could be changing it to a different airport. You could be making me accept a ride that I have no idea where the destination is, or how many stops you've added, or whatever. So to me, that's like playing Russian roulette as a driver. I am not going to gamble not knowing what's been adjusted. So if you adjust a ride after I've accepted it, I will cancel that ride. I will not be your driver. Somebody else will get assigned to that ride. And they'll see what the ride is. And I always recommend drivers that you cancel if the ride's been adjusted, unless you want to gamble and just take it. Next, once I pick up customers, quite often they will say, hey, can you stop at the corner so I could grab a pack of smokes, or I could get a beverage or whatnot. Now, depending on how busy of the day it is, if it's right after work or everybody's going to work, that's my busiest time of the day with the commuters. So do I want to stop and wait for you at the convenience store to run in and get cigarettes when everybody else is going to work? So there's a line in the convenience store for you to get those smokes or that soda or whatever you need. It is not advantageous for me to stop. Now, some drivers will say, I'll stop, but you have to add it to the app. You have to add the stop in. I'm not stopping without it. And that's a good golden rule for drivers, but really the compensation might be $1 or $2. And if it's peak rush hour, you're missing out. Now, if you took an Uber Comfort and I think that you're going to probably take care of me as a tip, I might do the stop. But every case is case by case. But if you're asking me to go through the McDonald's drive-thru on a Monday morning during peak rush hour and peak commute time, I am probably going to not be happy. But case by case. So, and then let's talk about what happens when a customer adds a stop without telling you. And this is like the cardinal sin against an Uber driver. Anytime anybody's going to request a stop, they should tell the driver ahead of time and ask. Don't tell me you're adding a stop. Because if you tell me you're adding a stop, that's going to cause friction. And I'm probably going to ding you on your rating. You know, I'll do it. If you just add a stop, I will do it. But I am probably, if you did not notify me at all, I'm probably going to give you a 1-0 on the ride. And I'm going to probably report it to Uber saying that I don't want you again as a customer. And that is pretty drastic. But to me, that's the number one cardinal sin you can do against an Uber driver is adding a stop without giving them the courtesy of asking them if they want to if you can add a stop. And you just have to have common sense about it. You can't be selfish. Me as a driver and other drivers are driving you. We're providing you a service, but this is not driving Miss Daisy. This is not whatever you want whenever you want it. Drivers have the ability as independent contractors to end rides, to cancel rides, and to decline service. And I think that drivers really need to find their threshold of what they're willing to accept, especially when you're a new driver, because you accept these things right away. And then later on, you kind of that was a waste of my time. I wasted my morning taking this girl through the McDonald's drive-thru. And then you find out she didn't even tip you at the end anyways. But hopefully you guys are having a good day. It is Sunday fun day, a little bit slow here. Last night they had bulls, barrels, and beers or something like that. It was a rodeo concert and all you could drink festival here in Madison. So it was a busy night last night. Everything is really quiet here, getting started out. State wrestling tournaments just finished up, so a lot of people are leaving town now. It's going to be a little bit of a slow burn here in Madison, I think, but otherwise, things are well. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll hit you on the next one.